Murmurs from the ether thought process. I was talking about I was going to read a journal entry that I thought would be appropriate, and to kind of reach out and give people some ideas of what it's like to struggle things that we all the struggles we go through, and as artists. Is I try to get more personal about stuff and just telling people my story. So before I go rambling on into that, let me go ahead and get into this now before I get on tangents. So here we go. So this is called Still Dreaming, a Storyteller's Journey. Man, I am really an idealist. With a Peter Pan complex. That's the bully, sure. Okay. I've never been much of writing down all my thoughts in a diary-like setting like this, as it feels much more for the sense of ego than anything. And although I possess, like all human beings, an ego of self, I feel that it should remain in the realms of pushing oneself towards their ambitions, and not for the folly of self-centeredness. But as the years go by, I realize more and more just how important it is to say what you need to say, to leave something behind on how you really felt about it all, including perhaps not just for therapeutic aspects of it, but for the hopes of inspiring and relaying the realities for those who may relate in some sense in the pursuit of their own ambitions. And so here I am, writing down in words all the hopes and dreams that still resonate within me of accomplishing all that I've been working for since I could pick up a pencil as an artist as well as a writer, including those things which we all deal with every day, the desires of something more, the flood of emotions, both good and bad, which consume us, that empower us to greatness and failures. And yet I remain stuck in these worlds, wondering if any of it matters or not. It does. I know it does. But not just for oneself, but hopefully as a guide for those that follow the ever-fleeting whims of being driven by the unquenchable desire to do one thing and one thing alone: create. On the outside, I like to think that I portray an aura of unshakable confidence, that no matter how many adversities come within my life, I never give up. And one day, either now or later, everything I strive so long to achieve will become a reality beyond anything I could ever imagine. Perhaps I will follow the path of success as such artists as Van Gogh, though like all artists in the living, there is a fear, a sense of unfairness of not being alive to enjoy the successes of your creations, as it occurred for Van Gogh, and I am no different. And I pray that this will not occur to me. But if it does, at the very least my creations and works will live on, and that in itself is more than any artist can truly ask for. But I also feel it's my duty, my value, to not mislead anyone per se, as the realities of striving to achieve a financial stability in your creative endeavors can be left to chance at times, but is still worth pursuing. I really do believe that all of us, everyone, no matter their ambitions, their dreams, should always strive to achieve them on some level, both tangible and metaphysical. But I know all too well it can be extremely frustrating and callous when you see little progress towards those dreams, towards seeing those ambitions becoming a reality, when the world seems designed to keep you from believing that anything is possible with its cruelness of being indifferent to your self-assured aspirations. And on the inside, I often feel at times overwhelmed, not only by the sheer madness of anxieties and depressions which consume me in private, but also combined with all the obsessive thoughts racing through my mind beyond light speed. There is this emptiness, this fear that you may be wrong, that you may fail, and all you have done will be forgotten. And the truth is, it will. No one lives forever, nor did our Lord feel it necessary to allow us more than less of a century to strive for all the things that matter to us. An extremely frustrating idiocracy that I would very much like to have the answers for. For as I groan and hopefully grow more wiser and better skilled at all aspects of my life, it seems that the Lord's sense of humor is a bit wicked at times. As when you feel that you have finally managed to start figuring everything out, it's over. Perhaps there are reasons for that, but for me it's beyond words that I can even convey for my irritations of not having more time to achieve everything I desire. Is that selfishness? Sure it is. But what human being, once they experience the exaltations of life, the loved ones they fortunately find themselves with, the pure joys that all this life has to offer, both the good and the bad, for even the badness defines you, molds you into hopefully a better being, doesn't want that life to go on. Especially when as a creative person, if you're not even fortunate enough to even do your crafts for a living, remaining stuck for years at a time, day in and day out, repeating the same mundane tasks in order to provide for your family, when all you really want to is feel what you do matters, that you get some sense of accomplishment, of fulfillment in what you achieve. Although I will say that even those who are fortunate enough to pursue their aspirations perhaps still have many things they wish or hope they can achieve at some point, and that in itself is a part of life. And even though I do provide for my family, and that is more important than even my creative ambitions, I still long for something more. More of the passions that drive me every day, and long to be rid of the guilt that consumes me because of it. You may read this and say, well, it's you that has failed. That is this in fact the true realities of what life has to offer you. And I say to you, you're right. And you're wrong as well. True, the uncertainties and woes of life can cause so many things to hinder our hopes and dreams. And yes, all of us have to live with the successes and failures of our choices. But we are wrong to think that it should only be this way. For perhaps like the visions of Gene Roddenberry's future, we too could achieve so much not only as a species, but imagine what we could achieve as individuals if all of us could follow our heart's desires and not be limited by our financial standings. An idealistic viewpoint, sure enough, but also a dream that could be a reality if we as humanity could look past the differences that divide us and realize that those differences is what defines us, what allows us to achieve greatness when we work together in unity. How I'd long for that day, after we have finally finished trying to destroy ourselves and come together in that unity and witness all the amazing wonders we will achieve. And when that does occur, for that at the very least future generations who will perhaps read these words will know just how fortunate you are to be able to pursue your heart's desires. And the achievements you accomplish from those desires will be based upon your own hard work and merits alone, and not tied down the class of your position or by those that care little for your plight. For throughout all my frustrations, throughout my journey upon this Creator's path, I want to be an example of perseverance to others, to be able to look back upon my life and say I achieved what people said was impossible, that I was able to overcome, and most importantly of all, you can too. To be able to look at everyone with the purest of convictions and say you can achieve anything as long as you believe you can, and dedicate yourself to those passions, even when you feel yourself that it's for naught. To hope, to inspire, to leave humanity with something that will be for the betterment of all and not only a select few. For if anything we do at all matters, it is the people we touch in our lives, even in the modest of sense. For every person we do reach, wherever that is in the grandest of schemes that resonates throughout the ages, or just a fleeting moment when we touch someone's life beyond what can be defined by our reasons is perhaps the most important thing we could ever achieve in our lives. So I say to you, dear reader, you will fail. You will fail. And you may not achieve everything you desire, but you won't achieve anything if you don't even try. For true success comes from within, from the pursuit alone, and that in itself is beyond words. For myself, perhaps I may not amount much in this life through my ambitions, but at the very least, when I do move on into the great beyond, I can say without duplicity that I did remain true to the pursuit of my dreams, and hopefully left something behind that will inspire those to come. And at the very least, no matter what this life threw at me, I never gave up. And you shouldn't either.